All right.
You know who wouldn't bomb, and he really has not been bombing, is Jake Bates, Michigan Panthers kicker. That dude, every time I but I go on Twitter, Jake Bates hit like another 60-yard field goal. What the hell's going on with Jake Bates, Boone? And why is this guy the best kicker of our generation? I mean, what is going on with this dude? I like every time I look, first time kicking professionally, 60-yarder, 60-yarder, 60-yarder. What's going on with Jake Bates? And why isn't he a Lion? I don't understand.
He's going to be a Lion. It's going to happen. I don't know how much they're going to have to pay him because he's probably going to be a pretty hot commodity when it comes to the end of the UFL season. Can I just give you guys some stats real quick?
Yeah.
Because so far, he's played in 6 games, fellas. One of the games, he's missed a field goal in 1 game, and he went 1 for 3. And that was 2 weeks ago, and I believe, or it was not this weekend, but the weekend before, and I believe it might have been the only outdoor game, I believe. And he went 1 for 3, missed a 58-yarder, missed a 62-yarder, and made a 30-yarder. Outside of that, fellas, outside of that 1 game, he's been 14 for 14. So on the season right now, he's 14 for 16, 3 for 4, 60-plus, boys. 60-plus, that man is 3 for 4. That man's throwing up Justin Tucker numbers. He's 3 for 4 from the 50 from 50 to 60. I'm just throwing this out there. He's the Justin Tucker of the UFL. He's the Justin Tucker of the UFL.
That's fair.
He's 3 for 4 from 50 to 60. He's 6 for 6 in the 40s, and he's 2 for 2 anything under 40. That man is an absolute demon of a player right now and a kicker. He's had 1 bad game. He's gone 1 for 3 in 1 game, and they were 58 and 62. It was outdoors, so obviously that's something to work on. Boys, bring that man to the – he better be in Allen Park come August, and he better be competing for that kicking job. Honestly, he has to be. And Jeff, me and you talked about the situation. Well, right now there's no fans in the stands.
That's where I was going.
I do think it's different, but again, there's been NFL kickers that have been really good, and in college, they're not playing at the best of schools. They just, hey, if you have like talent, you have like talent. Yes. Think about who's the kicker in the Cowboys right now? Aubrey?
Brandon Aubrey.
Aubrey Graham.
Think about that. He played in the USFL last year, gone over there, and he's one of the best kickers in the NFL now. And it was just,
he one player away, Boone, and it's at the kicker position?
No, we're not. Hey, first of all, you know how I feel about one player away. No one player away here at the Detroit Lions. We're an absolute powerhouse of a team.
Here's the thing with it. I don't know how you feel about it, Lucas. I think he's a great kicker. It's impressive what he's doing. The run he's been on, it's impressive. I don't want to take anything away from the man. You know, he's been on a tremendous run. The Lions should bring him in, no question. I think they would probably bring him in when the season's over, the Panthers season.
I think they have to. I think they have to wait.
Yeah, you can't just take him in mid-season. But when the season's over, he certainly should be brought in and compete. I'm curious how the adjustment to the NFL in terms of just the crowd being there, how that I think it matters. Like, it's not just about having a leg. You got to have the mindset of like not being fazed by
Brandon Aubrey
sold out crowd and really a decibel level that you can't hear yourself. So like, there's that too. And I think that is an adjustment. I don't know. Like, I will say this though, before you go, Lucas, I think there's kickers that aren't great NFL kickers that probably just nail 60-yarders in practice. Like just smoke the 60-yard like bombs, and then they get into a game and they can't hit a 40-yard field goal, like 45. Like it's the mental side in which I am curious, and I think the way he's been kicking it, there's no reason to doubt it, but there is a reason to probably be a little, hey, we'll see what he can do.
Yeah,
but he's doing it in Ford Field, so
it's a cool story. Bring him in for camp, but I think there's people out there they're acting like this is the man, like. He's the kicker Jesus for the Detroit Lions. Like to your point, I think not playing kicker much in the past and then having to step in at the NFL level to nail a 50-yarder to win the game. I think that's something that he's definitely never faced before. So it's not really a situation you go back to and be like, well, even I know it's playing in college, I had to make this kick even though it was at a lower level. I mean, he hasn't even played in college. So I think it definitely is something that for people to think you can just plug and play him at kicker, you'd probably be set up for failure and be disappointed. But, hey, it's a cool story. Bring him in. If it works out, great. If not, I won't be surprised.
Why are we acting like it's just like Brandon Aubrey just did it for Dallas last year and was the best kicker in the league last year?
Yeah, but
we're acting like the one scenario that's happened with USFL, he was the best kicker in the NFL.
Okay, that's not true, but I would say
Dude,
that
he made
Justin Tucker still lives. Justin Tucker.
Yeah, Justin Tucker's probably.
I get you that. I'm not saying Brandon Aubrey's a bad kicker, But I just like if Jake Bates were to be signed to the Lions, like I'm not expecting him to just automatically be Brandon Aubrey. Like Brandon Aubrey at least kicked in college. Jake Bates never kicked in college.
Dude, he was 36 for 38 last year coming off.
I'm not saying he's a bad kicker. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a difference between being elite in the UFL and elite in the NFL. Could he be a good kicker? Yes. But at the end of the day, I still don't think that's automatically going to change, especially for a guy that hasn't kicked much in his career to just change Dan Campbell's philosophy, especially when you're talking about in between the 40s.
To be honest, I don't even think Brandon Aubrey kicked in college, too. I just want to throw that out there. I think he's the same situation as Jake Bates. Brandon Aubrey played soccer, I believe, and played in the MLS or some league, and then transitioned to football in the USFL. And then it was probably the same thing. Everyone was saying the same thing last year. Well, Brandon Aubrey didn't kick before, and then he goes over to.
I'm not dying on a Jake Bates hill, man. Like,
why would you not a guy that's 50 plus? He's 6'8", 60 plus. Yeah. That man's kicking 60-yarders like it's nothing.
I'm not denying.
You're acting like it's like, why would you want Jake Bates? That's
because I don't think that's going to change how Dan Campbell runs this team. Regardless, that's how I view it. I think Dan Campbell, if he got an elite kicker, maybe a little bit, but I think Dan Campbell at the end of the day is going to be Dan Campbell. He's going to be like Brad Holmes. They are the way they are. This team is built the way they are built. And I think that they're still going to call plays on fourth down the way they have been. You don't have to agree with me.
I mean, you're just acting like it's like, I don't want Jake Bates.
It's a subjective opinion. But I don't think if you bring in Jake Bates, the needle is now moved.
No, we're on opposite sides of the swing set right now. We're on opposite sides.
No. Actually, I don't think
you're on that side of the teeter-totter. I'm over here.
I don't think you guys are that far off. I think you're saying, Booner, you want to bring him in. Dude's got a leg. It's impressive. And Lucas is saying it's not going to change how Dan operates, which I think there's a middle ground where it's like you bring him in case you do need him, you have him, but it doesn't change Dan's philosophy.
If Dan doesn't change, okay, who cares? But guess what?
But you have
now
him,
you give him an option over Michael Badgley, to where Badgley, it's like, yeah, he can do it potentially.
Yeah, that's what
but
it
you
is,
have,
Booner.
but you have more trust.
Badgley.
You have
you
more.
Hate
I don't hate
Badgley.
Badgley.
You love it.
Badgley. I don't hate the money badger. Where's my money at? Give me my money.
You want him gone.
No, I don't. I just would like. I don't think
for a kicker.
Jeff, where are you at with this? Jeff, me and you agreed on this thing with the great teams in the NFL have great kickers. And guess what? The Lions don't have that. So why not chase one down?
I wanted to draft a kicker. I think people oftentimes dismiss having a kicker, but we went through it, and we went through it a couple weeks ago, and I had my tweet that I put out on how, I mean, look at the playoffs, and I went through the last 6 Super Bowl matchups and what kicker each team had. I never said it matters to the point where if you have a good kicker, you'll make the Super Bowl. But the teams that even have elite quarterbacks always have a good kicker. It's not that like, oh, we have Mahomes, we can bring in Badgley. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like, they're always trying to have a good kicker.
I would love
that was my point. Is it's not like it's all that matters, but yeah, you're gonna want a better kicker than Michael Badgley, like 100%. Yeah.